Thank you. So looking forward to this next guest, Nisha Moodley. She's a health and wellness coach. And this guest has had a troubled past dealing with her own issues with emotional eating. And suddenly a light bulb went on, and she discovered she could create her own well-being and happiness. As I mentioned, she's a health and wellness coach with a mission to facilitate the empowerment of women. So let's welcome to our show Coach Nisha Moodley.
Nisha.
Hello, Marsha and Clark. Hello.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Absolutely.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation, Clark and Marsha. Happy to meet you over the line.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And before we dive in, let our listeners know what exactly is emotional eating.
So emotional eating, it's kind of a funny term because we eat when we're happy, we eat to celebrate, we eat when we're sad. It's not that uncommon, but emotional eating in the way that I use it and that it's more commonly used basically means compulsive eating. So using food as a way to soothe us, numb us, take us away from our troubles. And in that way, it becomes, an addictive substance in the way that drugs or alcohol might be.
Right. Wow. And how many women suffer from emotional eating?
That's a great question. I don't have any statistics on it, and I haven't seen any out there. But I know that when I talk to people about it, first of all, it's a conversation that we don't have very often because I think it's such an accepted thing. And a pretty common thing, in fact, but it's painful for people who struggle with food addiction or compulsive eating or emotional eating. It's just not as recognized as a disordered form of eating as the more prevalent and common eating disorders like anorexia and bulimia. But certainly this compulsive eating, it can lead to obviously really poor health, but also, poor self-esteem, feelings of self-worth. And so to circle back to your question, when I bring it up with people, even though it's not a very prevalent conversation, I'll have women say to me like, oh, I deal with that. And, or, my mom or my aunt or my best friend or my sister. So almost everybody that I ever bring it up in front of will say that they know somebody at least who's struggling.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, this is Clark. I'm going to take us back just a wee bit. I always like to ask this question from people who are exceptionally interesting. Besides being a coach and helping thousands, which you obviously are doing now, what did you want to be in life?
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I want to be in life? Gosh, that's a great question. I kind of wanted to be everything. I wanted to be So from a profession perspective, I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be a photographer. I wanted to be a social justice worker. I wanted to be a photographer. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be so much, and I changed my mind all the time. But I just knew that I wanted to somehow help people. And that, I could find a million ways to do that, but I knew that I wanted to help people. And I had this very stubborn idea that I could help people and do something that I enjoyed at the same time. But, part of my journey with emotional eating was that I didn't know what I wanted to do. And as I was watching my friends go off to college and, pull their big boy pants and big girl pants up and decide to be accountants or, police officers or whatever number of things my friends were deciding to do, I was trying things on. I studied marketing. I worked in cosmetics for a number of years. And, I could kind of find a way to like a lot of the things that I did, but I just was stubborn, and I wanted to find something that really felt like, oh, I'm living my purpose. I feel fulfilled by this. And in a way, I think the food was sort of there as a comfort for me when my friends seemed so self-assured. And, of course, if I asked them now, they would say, oh, girl, I was 20-year-old hot mess too. But, you know, in those times where I felt like the mess, like I didn't have my stuff together, to see, you know, all my friends kind of getting responsible and doing the right thing was really hard, and I definitely turned to food. So when I started to overcome it for myself, and I'm actually grateful for that stubbornness that I had to, you know, be determined to do something that I love and make a difference. Because it kept me going, it kept me looking, and you know, as I started to discover what it was that I wanted to do and explore a little bit more, the emotional eating started subsiding, and as I really got a handle on it, I actually really realized that that's what I wanted to help people with. And so kind of one of those stories where my greatest pain became my greatest blessing in a way.